Hi everyone, welcome back to the Paper Flourish craft videos. My name is Julie and this is card number 4 in the Lavinia mail card series. So I've just been doing a group of cards which you could give to any gentleman in your life. They could also be given to ladies as well. They're going to suit both, but particularly I wanted to focus on stamps that can be used to produce a card for that male in your life. So today I've brought in Mr. Sebastian the Seahorse. So we're going to create a card, a beautiful blender background, and then stamp it with the gorgeous Lavinia stamps, with Sebastian the Seahorse being the feature. So we're going with a sea theme. So I've picked some Distress Oxides which I'm going to use to create a background. We're going to do some stenciling as well, and of course our stamping. Recently Tim Holtz brought out Uncharted Mariner, though this is his latest colour. Fantastic sort of teal deep blue colour, and we might use this to do the edges of the card today. The 3 colours here I've chosen, Mermaid, Lagoon, Broken China and Tumbled Glass. They are the ones that Tim Holtz recommended that fit beautifully in the series. You can see these 4 colours together are fantastic. They all work really, really well together. So we're going to go with that as our colour range. So I'm just going to move that out the way. We'll bring back Sebastian in a moment. I've chosen a fairly big piece of white Multifarious card. This is the Lavinia cardstock, which for your blending and stamping is definitely the cardstock to choose. Just for your card fronts, it's kind of wasted as your card base. You can use a white cardstock for that, or any colour. But for your front of your card, definitely this one. Sebastian, you can see he fits really nicely on here once we stamped him, and it gives us room to add some other features into the background as well. So I'm going to, whenever I'm blending a large piece of cardstock, if I wanted a light blending, I would definitely pick up those Lavinia stencil brushes. But if I want to go for a really good heavy coverage of ink, I will pick up always the Tim Holtz tools. And I've got a friend that's joined me today. You coming to say hello today? I'm not sure if you can see him or not, but Murphy's back in action. Hello. Hello, Murphy. You've quite enjoyed the sunshine today. We've had a nice sunny day. But now he's come inside, I think, to have a bit of just to join in with the craft videos. What are you going to do, Murphy? You going to stay on my lap, or are you going to, he quite often does that, as you probably saw in some of the last videos, he likes to sit on my lap while I craft. So anyway, we'll just go with it. We'll see what Murphy decides to do. Maybe he's come to see Sebastian, the seahorse. I'm just going to, what I'm planning on doing is doing a layer blending with a darker at the bottom and gradually going into lighter at the top of the card. So I'm going to start with the darkest colour first at the base, and that's going to be Mermaid Lagoon. So I've got my Tim Holtz, the Ranger blending tool with the domed. I like using the domes. I find they're fantastic. The foams still work really well, but these are the latest ones and I find they're really, really good. So we're going for a nice strong coverage. Your oxides, your beautiful blending inks. So let's just start adding some to the bottom of the card. This is something I use quite often in cards. I'll just do a layered colouring up the card, and it always looks really nice. I said these inks just blend together beautifully. You can see how it's giving a really nice coverage there, nice smooth coverage with the ink. Of course, the Multifarious card plays a big part in that. This gives you that beautiful, beautiful finish on your card with your blending. All right, so we've got a fair bit there. Our gorgeous Mermaid Lagoon colour. So we're starting with that. The next colour we're going to add in is Broken China. So it's a similar colour, but a little bit lighter. So it's going to blend in nicely. So let's take that off there, and we're just going to add a layer of Broken China. Once we've got the second colour down, we can start to blend the 2 of them together, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. I've also chosen the oxides today because they blend so well. You can get some really nice effects by using water on them. They react with water. We'll be playing with that shortly. You right? You seeing that, Murphy? He's watching this very closely. So at the moment you can see there's quite a line. You can see the between the 2 colours. So now I'm going to go back into Mermaid Lagoon. You're going to, right there, Murphy's hopping up on the table now. He's gone to explore the ink pads. You right there, Murphy? Okay, we'll see where he ends up. So I'm going to just get a little bit more of the dark colour, and I'm just going to start to blend these two layers together. Yeah, it's just all nicely now starting to blend. And then we go back with the Broken China. That was the one, wasn't it? Broken China. And we're just going to blend again. So by using those two colours over the top of each other, it ends up just blending together nicely. So now it's not obvious where those two colours were. We're bringing in a third colour, and that is going to be Tumbled Glass. So now we're going into the light colour, which I want to have at the top of the card. So let's bring in another foam there. So now we've got our Tumbled Glass. Now, something to watch when you're working with your oxides, your fingerprints can show. So quite often I'll get a paper towel or a tissue. Pardon me reaching across the table there. And just to hold on to your cardstock, especially as it starts to get completely covered with ink, that'll just stop your fingerprints ending up on the card. So I'm just going to bring this colour in at the top. And again, we'll use both of our colours to then blend those areas together. Right, Murphy, let's hop down now. I think he's gone to explore my craft room. Right. So don't the three go nicely together? Really nice colour range. As I said, we'll bring in, I think, some of that Uncharted Mariner later on around the edge of the card. And I'm going to come back with Broken China. Let's just bring that up a little bit into the Tumbled Glass area. Pretty good. And just a little bit more Tumbled Glass just to finish that blending. And see how easy that has been to work with. So now we've got our three shades going from darker through to lighter as we go up the card. So I'm just going to pop those oxides away to the side. So being a sea theme, we've got our water happening there and deeper at the bottom and going lighter as we go to the top. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of, I want to add a little bit of sort of a textured look to the background, and we're going to do this with a stencil. I'm still going, which one am I going to use? We've got the Pebble stencil and we've also got white orbs. I think I'm going to go with the Pebble stencil. So we want to get this print onto our card. So let's take this one. They would have both worked really well with the sea theme. Let's take that one out. So this is the Pebble stencil, Lavinia Pebble stencil. I'm going to get some paper towel and another piece ready to roll. Let's put that to the side for the moment. So what I'm going to do is pop my stencil on the paper towel. I've got my spray bottle of water and I'm going to spray the stencil with water. So now my stencil's wet. Move that out the way. Bring back the card. Now the wet side, I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to place that down on top of the card. With my dry piece of paper towel, I'm just going to pop that over the top and press. We'll give it a moment because what this is going to do is the water's going to help to bleach that pattern almost out of the card. And I'm hoping it looks like a nice sea background. We'll see in a moment. That was way too many words of the sea there. Okay. Now let's take it away and see what's happened. Ooh, look at that. So now, can you see what's happened? Can you see how it's put that print, that stenciling? It's bleached it out, and now we've got this fantastic textured background happening. That look. What I'm going to do is get another paper towel, another dry paper towel. Pop it over the top, and that's just going to help to remove a little bit more of that ink. And now the bleaching shows up even more. That looks like all bubbles through the water. Now, because this is quite wet from having that stencil and the ink on there, before we start our stamping, I'm going to dry that. Okay, so I'm just going to get my heat tool. Murphy's gone into my bedroom. I can see him from here, so he won't get scared by the heat tool. He's not mad keen on loud noises. We'll see if he comes back later. I think he might be heading in for an afternoon nap. Isn't that an easy way to get a really interesting looking background? You play with all your stencils. They'll all work the same way with your oxides. The Lavinia Elements inks will also react in the same way. but a really effective background. It won't be much longer. Let's give it a little bit of a dry on the back. That should be fairly dry now. I'm ready for stamping. You can see there that's dried. You've got your beautiful colours there, darker through to lighter, and the fantastic effect there with the stencil. So for Sebastian, he's a fairly big stamp. At this point, I want to make sure he stamps really well. I'm just going to wipe that stencil off and pop it to the side. So I'm going to use a stamp press to stamp Sebastian. My Sebastian stamp has been used with some archival ink over the time, and that's why it's discoloured, but it still stamps no problem at all. So I'm going to pop this stencil, the card, into my stamp press, holding it down with the magnets. And let's position Sebastian. I think I'm going to place him right in the middle of the card, just like that. He is a fantastic stamp. Let's close that up, pick up the stamp, let's pop the card back there, it moves slightly, pop it back into place. Right, now I'm going to use just the Nocturne Versafine Clair, the black ink pad. So I want that really strong image on the card. I'm just going to ink up Sebastian. Managed to get some ink on the stamp press there. Just take that away. Nice and inky now. So let's bring Sebastian over and stamp on the card. Of course, with the stamp press, if I miss a little bit, if it doesn't quite stamp dark enough, I've got that chance to stamp again. Let's take that away. Okay, it's actually stamped up pretty well. I think I'm going to leave. Yeah, I don't think it's missed anything there, so let's leave Sebastian. Take some of that ink off here, the stamp. All right, we'll pop that to the side. So we've got our main feature stamp here on the card, Sebastian. There we go. Let's put another sheet of paper. Now, so there's quite a few sea theme Lavinia stamps. I've brought a couple of them here to use. Not sure quite where we're going to put them yet. Just looking for, there it is. I love this one. The Shoal of Fish, this is called. Shoal of Fish. So we might bring some fish in around the background, swimming around Sebastian. Now for this I'm going to pick up one of the Lavinia acrylic plates. This is a really good one. Long, thin plate. It'll be perfect for this stamp. So we just pop it on there. What colour are we going to make the fish? I think I might do some Twilight. So this is just going to have a slight, it's a dark stamp, but it'll have a slight bluish tinge to it. Ink up the stamp. See, that colour actually goes really well in with what we've got there. I've missed a little bit down the bottom. Let's ink those. There we go. And we're just going to stamp some fish swimming around Sebastian. I'll bring some in maybe here. There we go. I'll bring some in over this side. And we might just put another little bit. Oh, some more fish floating around here, swimming up here. There we go. All right, so we've got our fish swimming around Sebastian. Twilight looks nice on those inks, doesn't it? That was your Twilight Versafine Clair ink. All right, so we've got our fish swimming around. There are some larger fish. I quite like this fish set. This is called, they need a name. When they're in the larger, one of them is called Flow. They do have larger versions of these as well. I might pop a little fish down in the bottom corner, I think. Might just have one swimming down here. underneath. So let's get the small acrylic plate, Lavinia acrylic plate. Now for this one, let's have a look, what colour will I go with? We're just going to go with another one of the blues. This time I'm going to go with Paradise. Let's cut the fish. And let's just stamp this one down in the bottom corner. There we go. See that? Swimming around. All right. Can we get the other fish on there as well? Don't want to overdo the fish. So I'd like to get a bit of a seaweed look as well. Might just pop that one fish on there for the moment. We can always come back and add another one if we need to. So here, I always, whenever I make a sea card, I always go to this stamp here for the bubbles. And this is called Pink Orbs, but it works really well as bubbles. So I'm going to use the long stamp again. Now for the bubbles, what colour will we use there? I might actually stick with the, let me see. I think we're going to do some green bubbles, and we might go with Rainforest, quite a dark green, Versafine Clair. Let's do some green bubbles. Put some up there. See, it looks quite good as bubbles, doesn't it? Works really, really well. Let's do a few along the top here. Some bubbles above Sebastian. And we might just add a few more in between as well. Maybe we might do some faint ones, some darker ones. There we go. So we got our bubbles, and we might just do one over there. There we go. Bubbles along the top. Always looks good. I have used, now what's that called? Forest Spruce. If you use that upside down, that can look really nice as seaweed on the bottom of a sea card. But I haven't got that one out today. So we've got some fish. We probably don't need to add too much more to this card. I've left a little space down in the corner because we might bring a sentiment in. So depending on what you're giving this card for, just for you, birthday wishes with love. I'm going to make this a birthday card. So I'm going to bring birthday wishes in. And I think I'm going to bring, we might just bring that green in down the bottom as well. So going back to Rainforest, Versafine Clair. Let's ink that one up. Pop that down the bottom. There we go with our birthday wishes. So that's quite nice when you've got the green up the top, the green down the bottom. It sort of balances it all out. Sebastian is still the absolute star of the card, as Sebastian should be. All right. So now I have to decide, am I going to bring in a touch of Uncharted Mariner around the sides, or am I going to leave it like that? I'm going to try the Uncharted Mariner. Not too dark. I don't want too big a border, but it's going to all work in nicely with the colours that we've used already in our blended background. So I'm going with a large, brush, large Lavinia stencil brush, the 1 inch. So you can see straight away how well that colour is going to work. And I'm just going to lightly come in and catch the sides of the card. See, more ink is going on the scrap paper than it is on the actual card. To what I think this card could be for anyone, couldn't it? I'd be quite happy to get this card, I think. So I'm not coming a long way in, I'm just catching the sides. Taking a fair bit of ink off first before I bring the ink onto the card edges. But you can always add more, but it's a little bit hard if you've gone in too heavy to remove that ink. So I like to just go in fairly light, and if I need to go over it a couple of times, it's easy to do. going just a little bit more on the side. See how that's just, it's made Sebastian stand out that little bit more by having the darker edge on the side. But I haven't overdone it. It's just caught the sides of the card as I've gone around. Again, that lovely Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide works fantastic with the colours that we've already done. So this card is almost finished. I am going to bring in some Posca dots. Posca dots are a great way just to add that little bit extra to the card. I'm not going to add too many of them. I'm going to start by adding some. I've just got a fine Posca white pen here, and I'm just going to bring some in. Is that working? Posca Pen's on strike. Come on, Mr. Posca Pen. And it doesn't want to behave today. I'll get that moving in a minute. Now it's working. So I'm just going to do some fine little white dots. I'm going to start around the sentiment. I often do that on a card. Just pop some white dots around the sentiment, and if I find that's enough, we'll keep it there. If not, we'll add some more around the card, just to add that little bit of interest. Not pressing down too hard, just lightly. Almost looks like fish food for the fish, doesn't it? I think I'm going to leave them just around the sentiment. I don't think I'm going to add them anymore. And I think that might be the card done. So that's our card number 4 in our Lavinia Mail card series, Mr. Sebastian the Seahorse. So I hope you're finding these videos useful. I'm hoping it gives you a chance to get your stamps out and make some cards for the gentleman in your life. Have a fantastic day, everyone. I'll be back with card number 5 very soon, but have a fantastic day, and thank you so much for watching. Thanks. Bye-bye.